Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Journey Podcast. What I want to do today is give you guys a quick little reminder that we are only 2 weeks into the year. And so if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling discouraged, give yourself a slap in the face and tell yourself you're being ridiculous because I was feeling that way for the first 2 weeks as well. And this is also why it's really good to track data. I'm going to give you guys a couple different stories on this one to give yourself a slap in the face. But I'll start off with a personal story. In the very beginning of this year, I had a really hard 2 weeks. Just mentally, I just wasn't really in the right place. Now, I know a lot of students in PTBI and a lot of people in general started off the year extremely sick, which just put everyone in a bad mood because it's like you're starting off the year on the wrong foot. And no one was really able to like really take action or do anything until like 2 weeks into the month. And so I'm getting a lot of people who are like, a little bit discouraged about that. But I was feeling that way too, except I wasn't even sick. I was fully healthy, able to perform at my highest level, but mentally I was just in such a funk. I didn't know really what was going on. And I reached out to a good friend of mine who has helped me through, hard times before. And I told him about how I was feeling. He said, dude, don't judge this year on the first 14 days of the month. Right. I'm like, you know what? That's a really good point. We're only 14 days into the entire year, and I am acting as if this year has gone to shit already. And that kind of pulled me out of, what I was feeling. And I thought, you know what? I need to give myself time. I also have a ton of PTBI students who are starting up recently who are, just in general, when people start something new, they go in guns a-blazing, and there's so much to learn and so much to build and so much to implement that it could be a little bit overwhelming. And what I have to tell my students all the time is, your goals are 2022 goals. They are not January goals. You guys need to give yourself more time to be successful. I've talked about this before in earlier podcasts, but most of the time, your goals in the vision that you have for yourself is 110% achievable, but probably not achievable within the time frame that you're giving yourself. And so if you're giving yourself a month to get your business started and start making 10K a month, then you're starting off in a position to where you're going to set yourself up for failure because there's just too much to learn, too much to implement. But if you give yourself 3 months or 6 months and actually give yourself the space to achieve your goals within that time, then you're going to be in a much better position to stay motivated and encouraged all the way through every single step. But the thing is, people know that they need to give themselves time. They know they need to give themselves 6 months. They know they need to give themselves 12 months. But when it comes down to actually executing, they're disappointed because deep down, they want the results faster. And so it's this weird dissonance to where on the outside, people are like, yeah, I know this is going to take time. But on the inside, they're like, fuck, I want it now. And it really puts people in a sour place. And that honestly leaves a lot of people feeling discouraged and, gets people to give up. So that's really why in PTBI, we really focus on nurturing students long-term. And I tell people, this is a 12-month journey. You can't expect to get everything done in 30 days and get your business off the ground. And what I will say is that the people who are getting the best results in PTBI have been the students that have been with us and consistent with us for 2 years now. Right? They've now built their business up to 20, 30K a month, which is absolutely incredible, but they didn't get there the first month. They didn't get there the first 6 months. They didn't even get there the first 12 months. It took 24 months in order for them to get to that level. Give yourself more time. We're only 2 weeks into the year, and just remind yourself that your goals that you have set are goals for the year. So give yourself the year, give yourself some grace. Another thing I wanted to talk about too was that I had a student who, texted me saying that he had a couple of challenges and a couple of bad news coming up. And I was like, okay, let's dive into the bad news. And he's like, well, I'm running into all these problems and all these challenges I just don't really know the answer to. I'm like, dude, that's not bad news. Like, that is not bad news. When he told me he was expecting bad news, I was expecting to say that his parents are kicking him out of the house or his roommate was kicking him out of the house. And now he's homeless. And that would be bad news. But what's going to happen is that when you grow, you are going to be further ahead in your journey than you were the day before or the week before. And so as you've progressed further and further deeper into your journey, you are going to run into problems that you've never had before. And these problems are probably going to be stressful and probably going to cause a lot of anxiety because now they are new challenges that you have to overcome. But this is a good sign. It means that you're making progress in your journey and you are growing and If you woke up and you didn't have any problems that day, it means that you're not experiencing anything new and you're not making progress in life. So I told him, like, dude, these challenges are overcomable, but honestly, they're very exciting because it means that you are now further ahead than where you were 2 weeks ago, which is really, really incredible. I'll give you guys an example and a story that I had just last week. I went to Big Bear with a couple friends of mine, and we found this Rock Band kit, and we're like, oh, let's play Rock Band. Let's freaking do it. We go to turn on the Wii station, and the TV doesn't have the input for the Wii. And so like, okay, cool. This is our first challenge. We got to figure out how to plug the Wii into the TV so we can get the input station to turn on the Wii. And it took us 5 minutes to do that. And then we're like, okay, cool. Now we need to find a controller. And we're like, fuck, there's no controller. And so we're looking around, can't find the controller. And then 5 minutes later goes by and we finally find the controller. We turn the controller on, there's no batteries. We're like, fuck, okay, there's no batteries here, right? We're looking around, finally find some batteries, put the batteries in, plug the controller on. And then we realize, oh, we only have, we have the guitar, we have the drums, but there's no cord to plug it in. And then we realize, oh, it's wireless. Well, how do we connect the wireless device to the Wii? And so we're looking around, we have to Google. And so with each new step, we had a different challenges. First, figure out how to plug the TV in, then figure out where the controller is and turn that on, and then figure out how to connect the wireless device to the Wii station, then figure out how to, this is like with each and every step, there's a new challenge that you have to face. But I thought it was so funny because it was such a good analogy for how to build a business and how to grow in life. Because once you figure something out, there's going to be a new challenge that you then need to figure out. And so every single time you face a new challenge, just understand that you're growing. But to tie that back into, the beginning of this podcast, just know that this year you have time to be successful. And just know that as long as you're running into challenges, that means that you are growing as a business owner, growing as an individual. So embrace those challenges and also suck up, because we're 2 weeks into the year. If the weeks didn't start off, or if the year didn't start off the way you wanted to, it didn't start off that way for a lot of people too. So you guys have time. Don't judge your year based off the first 2 weeks. Give yourself the full 12 months and then embrace those challenges as you grow. So that being said, guys, I'll leave you guys to it, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.